Hello, and welcome to another episode of Creating Cultures That Outperform. Here we are on episode 30 of Jerks at Work. This week we have the credit taker. Now, if you listened to last week's episode on the blame shifter, this can be two sides of one coin. I've seen people who do both and become adept at shifting blame and taking credit from everybody else. So it is a strategy that you see sometimes in the workplace employed by real big jerks. But here's the series. You could see we're on the kind of two-thirds of the way down the second column. We're moving on. We've had so many great episodes. Terry and I are amazed how many jerky type personalities exist in the workplace. It's amazing work gets done sometime with this many people running around there.
You're right. It is absolutely amazing.
Now, I think this is one of the most socially corrosive jerks of all, the credit taker. There is nothing worse than people who steal other people's spotlight. And I've worked alongside a few of these, and one of them was a combo blame shifter credit taker. He was just a nightmare. I knew one of the people that worked directly for him. It was a peer running another department. And that individual said, "We're just all a bunch of faceless, nameless people." And no matter what happened, this individual would send out a note announcing this accomplishment, even when he had nothing to do with it. And he never mentioned the people who came up with the ideas and did the work. Yet management loved this guy, loved him. And he was so corrosive. And he was a difficult peer to work with because he wanted credit for what was going on in other organizations. Like when you worked for him and you had to build a big solution, even if you came up with the idea, organized it, got approval, he funded it, he'd be, at the end of the day, taking the bows.
Yeah.
He was absolutely horrible. Claims other successes as their own. I mean, takes credit in meetings, downplays or ignores contributions from teammates. This is who they are all the way. And they get
Yeah.
away with it depending on the company and the organization. It's terrible.
It is awful. And, the people that are actually there, that are doing the work, that are spending the long hours, that are, making the sacrifices, that are doing the deep thinking and problem solving, those people are really frustrated. There is no way around it. You get very frustrated when someone is constantly stepping all over your work to say that it was theirs.
Yeah.
And it only takes a few questions of this person who's trying to take credit for everything. When you start digging into the details, they have no answers because they have not done the work. And it's just the worst that you can do to somebody because you're really showing them that they cannot trust you
Oh,
by your
yeah.
actions. They are absolutely not going to trust you as a leader, as a peer. So they'll start withholding things from you and probably things that you need to know, but they will withhold them from you because they don't trust you. They don't believe that they can actually give you information without you just taking the credit for all of their hard work.
Yeah, they're very clever about it too. I remember, this individual, somebody would have done something great, and maybe he sat down with them for 5 minutes to go over it. And so before they got to saying how great the person who did the work was in the meeting, he would say, "Oh, I'd like to thank so and so. I sat down with them and we went over how to do this. And I'll tell you what, they really pulled it off and did a good job." But,
Yeah,
grabbing the spotlight somehow, just really, just so annoying.
yeah,
And
it's
of course,
very
that's
annoying.
not what you want to do, right? You got to actually be the boss who makes sure people get credit.
Yeah. You have to really showcase your team and put the spotlight on them. A great leader does this well. They know how to share the credit and give the credit to the team, but they also know how to take the credit when something goes wrong. They take ownership for whatever it is that goes wrong.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is really where you can shine as a leader by really giving that recognition to everybody else, letting your team, because what it's doing is making you look good anyway. This is how you get the credit for having a great team is by putting the spotlight on the other people, allowing them to be in the spotlight and shine and get their flowers. They're the ones that did all of it. They were the ones that stayed up late, They're the ones that did all the analysis, and we've got each of them holding up their part that they played, as a great team. They're
Yeah.
each playing a great part, and you have to let them shine and don't try to take the credit for them. You
I
know,
must say, oh, sorry, I was cutting you
yeah,
off.
no, but that I was just going to say that's just what you have to do to be a good leader. You really do have to share it and then hold that credit taker accountable. You really have to do that.
Yeah, and as a leader, you've got to know, and you've got, big organization, you've got to basically understand who's involved in the different things going on and make sure you walk around, know what's happening, and when things get done, that you find out who really was instrumental in doing it, and don't let these people stand up and steal the credit. Go out of your way to make sure that, hey, so and so, it's a great organization. I want to thank, you know, Mr. Credit Taker over here, but I want to really thank the people under who were instrumental in making this happen and make sure they get credit. And yet, as a peer, take your opportunities to point out who the real workers are that are doing stuff, right? Don't let this person steal the spotlight. Make sure that you too speak up and say, hey, this never would have happened if so and so hadn't done it. Don't let them get away with it because they're going to destroy the place. And if you're a subordinate, make sure you keep a good record of all the things you did. Because
Yeah,
ultimately there are bosses above who know nobody's getting all that work done on their own. They know the people are doing it, and if they're doing it, they're not delegating and they're horrible, right? So
yeah, yeah. You've got to start keeping some records and also going above them. Their leadership needs to know what's going on and really, like, don't feel like you're doing something wrong by doing that either, because ultimately your higher level leadership needs to know what's happening. And so
right.
you don't want to just leave it there for that person to continue to steal the credit. You can even do it in ways where you don't feel like, hey, I'm just going over this guy's head or this lady's head. I'm just going to put some information together and just share it, right? So now
Yeah.
you're just sharing successes of the team, and you're pointing out people that have done a great job. And it kind of steals the thunder of the one that wants to take the credit for everything,
Yeah.
because now there's, a document with everybody's name that's getting to shine
Yeah,
instead of
it's what you
just
got to do. You've
one
got to, the
person.
peer
Yeah.
organizations have to step in and make sure that the people who are really doing the work that they know of are getting credit. It's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Can't let them steal the spotlight. These people will destroy the whole place. And certainly what not to do. You certainly don't want to be this stupid boss here, cheering on this guy when he is the credit stealer.
Yeah.
And that is what happened with this individual, had all the faceless, nameless people. The boss loved this guy because they were two peas in a pod. They were exactly alike. And, really just played into the whole thing and, showered praise on him and let him get away with stealing credit. It was horrible.
Yeah, it's awful because when that person is the one that's, getting the big bonus checks and they're getting all the promotions and all the recognition, it just, you see these people in the bottom here on the backstage, they're updating their resume and they're leaving
Oh, yeah.
because they know I can never get ahead here. They know
Yeah.
that everything that they're trying to do in a healthy way to get ahead, which should be rewarded, it's not going to be rewarded. And so they ultimately decide, I need to update my resume and get out of here. Like, I just need to
Yeah.
leave. So you really don't want to lose great people this way by allowing someone who had nothing to do with it, nothing to do with all of the great things that were happening. You cannot let that person just get away with taking credit for everybody else's work. As a
You
leader, you have to be in tune with what's going on in your organization.
got to
And I love
know.
what you were saying earlier about just getting to know the people that you're working with so that you know who they are, what their personalities are like, but more importantly, you know what their work is like. So
Yeah.
that now when someone tries to come in and steal the credit, you already know what's happening and you can kind of redirect things in a healthier way.
Yeah, super important
Yeah.
to, really be on top of who's doing the work and make sure the right people get the recognition and all the people get it. And then, like you said earlier, make sure you're giving out credit freely to everybody who deserves it, but you're also taking the blame as the leader on top, putting up the umbrella so the rain doesn't fall on them, and
Yeah.
saying, hey, we're going to improve this organization. So don't throw them under the bus, give them the credit. They'll love you as a leader and they'll have your back all the way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so these people do create a huge amount of, they leave a big wake behind them, no doubt about it, when they're allowed to do this, because people get very disenchanted with the workplace and the leadership, knowing that they let someone like this get away with it.
Yeah.
And they do exit, they do leave, and it might be transferring out to another part of the company, whatever. They're
Yeah.
going to get out of there and get to a place where they're appreciated. And
Yeah.
I don't blame them. That's what
People
you got to
start
do.
to hoard information and they no longer want to collaborate because they know that this person is going to try to get just enough information so that they can steal the credit later. So
Oh,
they
yeah.
start to silo themselves and really protect themselves from this person by not giving them the information they, would have normally given and really work together. But when they know the person is going to take the credit, they stop doing that because they don't want the person to steal it.
Well, they're not motivated. They're demotivated totally. They put in no
Yeah.
discretionary effort because it's not worth it. You're not getting recognized. If you're not getting recognized and your achievements going unnoticed, then you're really not going to get the raises and the bonuses and the other things that come along with being a great worker. And
Yeah.
so, you can take a look at the collateral damage here. We don't have to read through it, but it has a big, big negative impact on the organization, as all these jerks do. They all
Yeah.
cause people to leave and quit and want to get out of there. It's amazing how corrosive these people are.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. We did a whole series on ways to improve morale without a whole lot of money.
Yes.
You know,
How to
this,
motivate people without money. That was a
yeah,
great series.
this really speaks to that series. And we encourage you to go take a look at that series as well, because
Yeah.
managing this credit taker is another way that you can improve morale without a whole lot of money
Oh,
by
yeah.
making sure that this person is not stealing the thunder of everybody else and just kind of getting all the applause for themselves, and the entire team is just kind of suffering. This is another great way to do a morale boost to the team by not allowing this person to take the credit for everything.
Well, and coach them and tell them that they need to learn how to actually share credit. That's what motivates people. As a leader, their job is to motivate people to excel. And if they
Yeah.
can't do that, they can't be in that job. I mean, let's face it, right? And as individual contributors, there are credit stealers on teams who are not leaders. And I've seen that too.
Yeah.
And, they're always there trying to take credit for something because oftentimes they can't deliver much on their own. And they're trying to get part of the spotlight to protect themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
it's
true.
terrible. But next week we have the lone wolf. This is an interesting personality, right? So I hope you could join us. Terry and I have another show every Wednesday, 3 o'clock Eastern. And hope you could join us for the lone wolf.